switch things up in your relationship with God. Hey, what's up? It's Patrick, it's Rose via Fire, and I pray this message reaches who it needs to reach. So let's talk about switch things up in your relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? So, like how people, when it comes to relationships, you know what I'm saying, they be talking about, oh, we gotta switch things up and this and that. Well, that's the same thing, bro. Just as much how people be like in a relationship with a person and they be like, oh, we gotta switch things up and this and that. Try something different, or you know what I'm saying, do different things or whatever. In your relationship with God, you also gotta switch things up. You know what I'm saying? For example, I'm gonna give y'all an example. Let's say you're talking to God, you know what I'm saying? And let's say you have this spot where you just hang out with God, you know what I'm saying? You kind of like created this spot or this area or this place that you go to talk to God. Well, switch things up in your relationship with God, because let's keep it real, man. We human beings, bro. Sometimes you get tired of like the same routine and the same, you know what I'm saying, the same patterns. So maybe you can, you know what I'm saying, need to find you like a new spot where you could talk to God at, you know what I'm saying, a new place that you could talk to God at, you know what I'm saying. Maybe you could need to find you like a new way of talking to God, a new level of talking to God. You know what I'm saying? Hang out with God in a different place, or you know what I'm saying, like switch things up in your relationship with God, man. Because I feel like when it comes to people who are in a relationship with another person, they always find ways to switch it up, you know what I'm saying, to switch things up, to kind of like keep the relationship alive. But when it comes to God, people doing the same routine, bro. Every pagan Sunday, bro, they running to church, listening to a preacher who ain't telling them nothing. The preacher, half of the time, some of these preachers, bro, half of the sermon, bro, they just talking about their wife and kids. These people ain't even talking about the real gospel of God, bro. They just talking on and talking on for hours and hours. You walk out the church, you learn nothing. You still lost. You still don't have the fear of God within you. You still entertaining the world. You know what I'm saying? And then one thing that I noticed is that even when people read the Bible, it's not effective. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. Majority of people who read the Bible, it's not effective, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because they are reading the Bible in a mindset to whereas, think about it like this. It's like people trying to manipulate what they read. People start reading the Bible in a certain mindset, and they try to manipulate the scriptures to fit their lifestyle. That's how everybody read the Bible, bro. That's something I'm starting to notice, bro. It's like people, the Bible ain't even saving people, bro. It's like the Bible ain't even saving souls no more. You know what I'm saying? That's why God has to raise up people who gonna expose the truth of what's going on. Cause I'm telling you, bro, I know some people may agree with this or some people may disagree. But when I'm telling you, bro, when people read the Bible in a very narcissistic way, to whereas this is my mindset before I read the Bible. So now let me read the Bible and try to put it in my own mindset. I don't really care about doing God's will for real. I'm just trying to manipulate the scripture to align with my lifestyle that I'm currently living. Oh, let me read this scripture. So in my representation, this is how I interpret that scripture. And then boom, they hit you with the agenda of trying to align that scripture with their current mindset. These people is not into changing for God. You know what I'm saying? That's why God is raising up people to tell people the truth. To tell people, hey, look, you are manipulating what you're reading. You are using your mindset of the world, and you don't want to fully change and dedicate your life to God. So you will try to read the scripture in a perspective of where it would align to your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? God is raising up people to tell people the truth. That's what's going to save souls from hell. People just reading the Bible alone, that ain't saving souls from hell, because these people is reading the Bible in a manipulative way. And in church, you know what I'm saying? When they reading all these scriptures in church, they watering the stuff down, and then they teaching them to water the way they read the Bible down. So it's like a brainwashing mindset. It's like a domino effect of how it's watered down in the church. Now people is reading it in a watered down way to whereas it would align with their lifestyle instead of fully trying to dedicate their life to God. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of manipulation tactics, bro. It's a lot of like people don't really want to change. People just trying to manipulate the scripture and manipulate God, bro. Like it's a lot of that going on. You see worldly people talking about, oh yeah, I'm reading the scripture, man. If you're reading the scripture, why your life ain't changed for real, bro? Let's keep it real. That's why God is raising up people who are going to tell you the truth. People got Bibles and people still lost. People got the Bible and they still lost because they don't even know that they are manipulating, using their current mindset to try to manipulate what the Bible is saying in their own way to continue to align with their agenda. They use the Bible as motivation to keep living the life they want to live. I'm going to repeat that 3 times. They use the Bible to encourage the lifestyle that they are currently living. Let me repeat that one more time. They use the Bible and the scriptures to align with the lifestyle that they are currently living. So how is the Bible saving people for real when all people is doing that? That's why we need people to speak the truth, bro. That's why God is raising people up to speak the truth. You gotta learn how to read the Bible the right way. You gotta change your mindset. You gotta read the word in the way that you're trying to change, not in the way that you're trying to align your agendas with what, to manipulate the scripture to align with your agendas. You gotta read the Bible the right way. In Christianity, Christians, all these religions, bro, they just misleading people, man. Y'all, bro, if you really have discernment, you gonna understand what I'm saying. If you don't have discernment, you ain't gonna understand what I'm saying, bro. I'm trying to tell you. People debating about scriptures. Every time you bring up God, people trying to debate. Christians debating with other Christians. Religious people debating with other religious people. Anytime you bring up God, it's a debate. Every single time, without fail. Oh, where's the scripture for that? You want the scripture for that? Man, you're going to have to find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Because at this point, I ain't going back and forth, bro. You know what I'm saying? But switch things up in your relationship with God, bro. If you was talking to God in one spot, talk to God in another spot. Find a new spot to talk to God. Switch it up in how you talk to God. Change it up in how you talk to God. You know what I'm saying? Spice things up in your relationship with God, man. Like, be different. You know what I'm saying? Pray differently. You know what I'm saying? If you was talking to God in a certain room, if you have like a place that you created in your home to talk to God, if you created like a place like in your closet or something, like where you're talking to God, wherever it is, or in your living room, anywhere, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, switch it up, you know what I'm saying? Find another place to talk to God. Find a different way to talk to God, you know what I'm saying? Just really like be creative in how you talk to God. Switch things up in your relationship with God, because as human beings, bro, we get tired of the same routine, bro. And don't let nobody tell you that they don't get tired of the same routine, bro. We could get tired of the same routine, so you gotta like switch things up in your relationship with God, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you might get tired of doing the same things in your relationship with God, bro. Let's keep it real. And I noticed, like, even just like simple changes, like, okay, cool, I'm praying to God in a different spot or in a different place. You know what I'm saying? It's encouraging, bro. It's uplifting. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to God in a different way. I created a new spot. I came up with a new spot to talk to God. Even like little changes, man. You know what I'm saying? When you're switching it up in your relationship with God, even like the little changes, bro, they count for real, bro. Switch things up in your relationship with God, bro. It don't have to be like a drastic change. It could be like a little change, bro. Like you start switching things up, man. Then you start to revitalize your relationship with God, man. You know what I'm saying? You start to break out of patterns and become more creative, and you're gonna feel more free because you're not gonna feel like a prisoner to patterns. You know what I'm saying? Because we human beings, bro, we get tired of patterns, bro. We get tired of like repetition patterns, and like switch it up, man. Switch things up in your relationship with God, man. And I was just doing this message to encourage like the right people, bro. You know what I'm saying? Switch things up in your relationship with God, bro. It don't have to be a drastic change. It could be a small change, you know what I'm saying? But switch things up in your relationship with God, man. And that's basically everything I wanted to say, bro. Peace.